Hey, tech fans, we're gonna talk about tracing. Tracing. You in the past, before we have what we have now, we just log in, turn on our computers, get into our worksheet, spreadsheet, and everything. We didn't go on the internet yet because we weren't connected, so there was no tracing going on. But today, when you turn that computer on, boom, it's on the internet. But a lot of everybody else is talking about these um, GID stuff. They keep on saying there's no way to turn it off. Well, yes, there is. You just don't go on the internet. You disable your network card or Wi-Fi card, and you can use your computer like how we used to use it in the past. We just turn on a computer and we use a worksheet. That's right. But see, the thing is, if you connect it to the cloud, a lot of those features won't work. That's why a lot of people don't bother with Microsoft's Office 360 that you have to subscribe to. But you could get their program and still use it without doing that too. But everything is like connected to the cloud. We live too much in the cloud now. So somebody found out. I guess they got arrested and they found out how to get around that system. But they have it for a reason. Remember, the software, you bought it, but you have a license to use it, and that's about it. Basically, that's how I see it. But the Mac OS, the Linux, the Google, and everything else, if the government wants to know what you're doing, they're gonna know. You can't live off the grid like they used to. But like I said, you could operate like we used to when we used to have the computers. We just turn them on and they weren't connected. And then you want to connect, you connect if you want to connect. Firewall, all sorts of things you could run. Firewall blocks everything. Microsoft does give you firewall in and out, and one. So you have a third party operating system or third party program on there, and you don't want it to communicate with home, you could shut the door right on them, and it doesn't communicate. So you block inbound and outbound, and that's it. A lot of those kind of softwares that I'm talking about are getting smart, and they'll check your computer for errors and say, hey, some firewall settings need to be removed. But then they know how to they see blockage. See, and that's another thing. So you uncheck firewall because you don't want it to go near your firewall because you have certain things blocked. So there you have no privacy either. That's another thing that's going on too. So what you should do, you have to leave it alone. I don't even bother with it. But it's there. As long as it's not using a lot of bandwidth, because they do have the bandwidth feature. I did tell you in settings to change. Okay, there was a bandwidth setting was enabled, taking 80%. Again, I don't want that. When I change that setting, and there's another setting too. I will talk about that another time to increase the Wi-Fi. Things that are not needed, but not every Wi-Fi adapter you can fix that. So yeah, so I'll talk about it and I'll show you on the screen. I hope everything works for you. Okay, and it gives you what you want. But group policies on those to go in there and to double check those settings. There is help on this channel. You have to look for increasing speed, and you click on the ones. Those of you who are not on Pro, and that will help you. But again, the tracing is there, and it's going on, and they're all doing it. Android TV, Google, even Walmart with the on boxes. They all have a chip in there. Everything is just they know. How they know? They know what you buy. They know what you do. That's the way it is, unless somebody changes the rules. But that's it. Now it's going into cars. They can trace you now, but it's been around for a while. Yeah. The car information one is to make sure that you are alert to drive. You're not angry and not upset, because when you're angry and upset, you're gonna step on an accelerator. You're gonna do some strange things that you shouldn't do. Yeah, and that's how the road rage begins. So the car's gonna determine that you have road rage and shut off the vehicle and won't let you drive. And you'll have to find other ways, to get home. Hopefully, it'll call an emergency number and somebody will come and get you. Otherwise, you're stuck because your vehicle will not start. This is the new technology. The AI is going to be alert. It's going to catch things when you access certain things. It'll determine, hey, they'll say, me, Hey, Albert, you need to take a break. Why? I can keep talking. No, you should get some rest because it's able to determine how long you've been working, how long you've been doing. That's self aware in a kind of a sense. But I know you don't like the tracing, but this is what they're doing. Like I said, you could treat the computer like it was back in the 80s and the 90s. You just turn it on without it connecting to the internet because they had modem and they had to connect to with a modem. Now you don't have to do the modem anymore. It automatically, when you log in, goes to the internet. Or you can disable the wireless or disable the ether or disable cellular because you have many ways to connect it. You have satellite, you have cell tower, you have cable, you have fiber. Some places still dial up. I'm not kidding. It's where they, unless the dial up has completely been phased out. She's using her new vacuum cleaner. When she turned it on, yeah, it's not her fault because some outlets can't handle it. They trace back to the circuit breaker, and the circuit breaker. We have a smart circuit breaker, so it monitors the circuits, and if it determines something's overworking itself, it just shut it down. I like the way the new modern circuit breaker is. I can't even tell if the circuit breaker tripped or not. It moves like a little notch. But again, everything's being monitored. We live in a monitored trace environment. Okay. See you next month.